So, wow, we have these two games. But the new team is going for the locked one. Okay, so we should be here. And this is the game that we were scheduled to observe. Let's see if they notice us. Okay, so I just want to try it out. I just want to see how will this look. How will this run? How will this commentating look like? I think somebody told me that I have the access to the very important line, and I have access to the show pivot. So that's actually great. And what do we have here? Oh, I maybe can ask them for the lists. Maybe. So that we have some. Oh yes, they already put out the lists in the. Wow, that's so nice. That's so nice. Okay, great. So let's start with the ogres because we are a bit closer to them. We have Mammoth Hunter on Rock Arrock that has a headhunter. So that's cool. He will be healing a bit. Double Adder Icon BSB. Wow. Interesting setup. Very interesting setup. 690 points. I don't like this, but he has Shield Breaker as well. That's an interesting setup. 690, maybe but well, he's not flying. So normally for this price you can find the flying monster, and as we can see, we can differentiate models at least by coloring them, so that's nice. We have this is by the way 5,000 points, so don't get worried that this looks like a bit much. We have another hunter who is the general with wild heart obviously. He has the Destiny Call and Heart Reaper. I don't like this. With Destiny Call, you don't need Iron Fist, so it just feels like a bit overpriced. He is, however, at 420, so this is not that expensive. We have a Shaman here, who has Thaumaturgy, Heirloom, and Scepter of Power. Interesting choice. Scepter of Power definitely strong with Thaumaturgy rules. So those reroll ones, so you basically cannot fail the Scepter roll. That's very nice. 5 Tribesmen with Discipline. So this is the biggest Ogre unit that you have. So your Shaman, not very safe, but that's usually how it goes in the Wild Heart lists. In Wild Heart lists, well, you still need to kill like 3 Ogres to be able to target the Shaman. And you have like 3 monsters, and some Scrotapults, and some Yetis hunting you. So I don't know, I think that you just don't have time for this. We have another Tribesman unit, because in the Wild Heart you cannot have Bruisers, so we have Tribesman, we have big unit of Saber-Tooth Tigers, 2 small units of Saber-Tooth Tigers, Scraplings with traps, I guess, 2 Keen Eaters, 2 Scrotapults, Auroch, Frost Mammoth, Scraplings, and Yetis. Okay, Yetis have Champion. Okay. So looking at this list, Frost Mammoth looks kind of weird here, doesn't it? Like, the Aurochs don't care that much about initiative, they care mostly about impact hits. The Yetis care a lot about initiative, but they have inbuilt help with the initiative, so I don't know if you really need the Mammoth for the Yetis. And the Yetis tend to be much more self-reliant, so they really don't need this. Interesting choice. Yeah, and the Tribesmen have Honor Discipline, so that's good. Although you already have. Well, I don't like that the BSB. If he dies, he's like 890. I think this is kind of the biggest problem with Wildcard lists in general, is that, well, your BSB and your general are not very safe, and if they die, normally one of the big advantages of hunters is that they are super cheap. Like, if you just get a vanilla guy with Destiny Call with paired weapons, he's like 330. That's good. It's cheap, that's expendable, and he can do a lot of damage. He can be on the flank anywhere where you want him. This guy here, well, who will give the leadership to the Scraplings? Who will give the leadership to the dog? Well, to the dogs the other hunter can. But to the scraplings, to like things like Orok, Yetis, yeah, I don't know. And also, if he dies, he's 620 all of a sudden. So that's a bit too much for me, I think. There is something wrong. There's something very weird going in the chat. Like, why? What is this? Why are because I don't think that they are. I think this is something automatic that just went a bit wrong. Okay, let's take a look at the Beast Heads list. Cool. Now we can look at it from the second perspective. So we have what? I'm just looking at it, and okay, we have double Minor Warlord, but there is no unit to host them. So that's basically going at let's bring, because if you remember, the Minor Warlords were actually at some point limited in the same slot as the big monsters were. And yeah, now when they are not in the same slot, you can take a lot of monsters because they are like pseudo monsters. They still pack a whole punch, and they are pretty safe. One of them has Destiny Call, the other one has the Agor's Affliction, and yeah, they in general are pretty buffed. Yeah, Blessed Inscription with Pearl Weapons on the one, and the Great Weapon with Cleansing Light. The Great Weapon is a bit overkill, but I guess you want the one guy to be destined to fight the guys with regeneration, and the other guy destined to fight guys with ward save. Although I think that Strength 8 is an overkill. Like if you wanted, then Halberd would be enough, I guess. But I don't know. Maybe he's very worried about like those one-up-rollable guys or something. Okay, and we have Triple Giant, Double Gortak, as simple as you can get. Raiding Chariot, those are, I guess, ambushing. This is not ambushing. This is like some shield standard bearer. Okay, so there is no BSB. There are some gargoyles. And obviously the Soothsayer is from Druidism, because otherwise it doesn't make any sense. Oh! And now I have to swallow my words because he's actually from Shamanism. Interesting. I guess the army is just aimed at being super pushy, so Shamanism definitely helps with that. Druidism is much more defensive law, but Druidism also helps to cover things that are normally problematic for, like, just defend, just give more defense. Here, I would be really worried that the damage is pretty much permanent. Well, maybe not against Gortax, but Gortax now cannot heal like crazy, so still a bit, you know, a bit lackluster. But we see the Beast player deciding to deploy all and presumably start. That's a very interesting move. I would say that if you're playing a match between okay, so we don't know what the objective is. Do we know what the objective is? Okay, it's not center, it's not spoils, it's not secure targets, it's not King of the Hill, it's either flags or breakthrough. And I honestly don't know which one is it. I think breakthrough is definitely. Oh, is it favoring the Beasthead player? I don't know. I think it. Sorry. I think it might be decently easy for the other player to to just kill the ambushes when they arrive. But well, he doesn't have the hunting call, so maybe they will arrive only on turn 4. But again, I will finish my thought that I had at the start. When you are playing a matchup that's two offensive armies clashing, then you usually really don't need the first turn. It's much more important to position your units against the perfect targets in the opponent's list. And by positioning everything, now you're giving just a bit too many options to your opponent, I think. So he can either overwhelm one flank or either overwhelm this right flank or the left flank. Although right flank might be a bit hard because of this impossible here. But anyway, I think that it would be much more useful for... Okay, the gargoyles are scouting. It would be much more useful for the Beastcast player to just wait, kind of. So those are scouting as well, yeah. Now let's think about this a bit. Which one is which? Do we know? This one is general. So which one is more crazy? I think the great weapon. Okay, the great weapon one is the general. So this is the guy with great weapon and cleansing light. I don't know if he is. Probably he is pretty threatening still. But yeah, I think buying great weapon on a model that has already strength 6 and agility 5 is a bit of a waste. So it seems very tasty to play, although was he just super afraid of all this or of all the vanguard? Like the guy has 1-2 vanguards, and the dogs will vanguard probably with this guy. So that's not very much vanguards, and he definitely is not afraid of the scratapults because they don't have the big hit as far as I remember. So I don't know. But if I were the ogre player, I would definitely not deploy on the whole table. I would just deploy on one of the sides. So the right side seems a bit more right because of the chariots. So like, if you deploy everything here, which might seem weird because of the impossible, then although you just like those chariots are not worth that much, and then like the giant will just help here with the potential scenario, although I still don't know whether it is flags or... Okay, let me ask them, maybe they will reply. Yeah. Breakthrough. Okay. So kind of the problem is if you forgo one of the flanks, then maybe it will be hard to catch the white horns. Although I'm not sure. I think that it is easier for you to push through one of the flanks, probably through this flank here with the impossible, than the other way around. Well, this mammoth hunter here on the hill is mildly annoying to the opponent, I believe. So yeah. And then I don't know, I think either way is okay. I really think either way is okay. So what I would expect after such deployment is just gargoyles in the ruins, gargoyles chuffed on the first turn, and we just move full forward with the Gortax, we just move full forward with the Minos. I don't know how far can the Gortax really move though. 14. How far is this? This is like here. So if he, okay, the tribesman unit probably shouldn't be in the middle, because, well, it might be very, very bad, honestly, because it is very easy to lose your shaman like this. Then, if he stays in the middle here, I think he can easily stay somewhere on the right side or somewhere on the left side where he's totally covered by the rest of the army. But in these matches, it's very hard to predict what will happen. I think based on the army lists, it is a decently equal matchup. Although it might go very easily in either direction. Like one stupid failed charge, one good long charge, the fluffing something in close combat, yeah. It can change a lot, I think. And positioning those chariots sideways if you are not starting is very risky, I think. Because then like the giant just goes here, 14. And then what? It is like 12 from you, 13 from you, so well you can back off, and then 19, that's far. Although if you don't have the general, then he can just push you off the board with the terror. This is what giants are very nice for. If you have the very cheap giant, then like just push opponent out with the terror and it doesn't really matter. Yeah, definitely you shouldn't put the second mammoth here on the hill. Because if you put the second mammoth here on the hill, then it is super easy to just place the harpies. Like, okay, the frost mammoth is okay. Although I would be still scared to place the gargoyles. Like gargoyles, even with the general, although it might be even hard to get the general to reach them, they are like leadership 9 with no reroll. That doesn't sound great. Let's take a look at the spells. Which spells they take? Okay, so maybe before we take... Okay, he didn't pick any yet. So before we take a look at the spells, let's think. We have... Okay, Awaken the Beast, Swarm of Insects are no-brainers. Break the Spirit, also no-brainer. The Beast Heart's Hereditary sucks, so you don't take it. And now what... Okay, probably Totemic Summon, but let's think about it. Do you have anything... Okay, you have 2 spells for the close combat, and then 2 spells... Yeah, it's just... Like, Chilling Howl doesn't make any sense. Savage Fury is not bad, but just doesn't fit into this battle, I think. Okay, and here, Trial Faith. Okay, no Comet, very reasonable. Smite the Unbeliever, Cleansing Fire. Yeah. Very standard stuff. Hereditary from Ogres, not taken. Oh, he has the Heirloom, so he has the Hereditary as well. He just didn't put it out. Okay, Shaman, does Shaman go into 3 tribesmen? That's what interests me. Because he is decently saving those 3 tribesmen, so well, it shouldn't really matter that much. But yeah. I don't really know whether... Okay, he should be safe, but still. Like first turn already your shaman will be threatened, so and you will have to go back anyway, so you might as well place them a bit more to the back. Although, who scouts first? The one who started deploying? Who finished deploying first, right? Scouts first. So he can make sure that the gargoyles will be in a good spot to definitely chaff whatever he would like. And then block the scraplings from scouting in the same position. So scraplings will be pretty sad boys, because, well, they will never be able to reach the ruins, I think, to poison the ruins. They will never be able to reach the lake. And then what? Do they poison the forest? Yeah, it sure looks nice. Like, although both of the players play with the armies that are unfinished, I still think that that's not bad. And here we'll have some quick vanguard action, I guess, because the opponent. I think you don't really need the Orok here, since the Yetis will just vanguard and they can probably move. This is 6-12, so they can probably stay on like 15, so they can probably stay like here, and then neither of those monsters will have a good time trying to move forward. So I'm really not sure whether you need this Orok here, because this Orok here will be really stuck. Like maybe he will not be stuck, but he will be a bit late to the battle. Like you definitely don't need those tribesmen. Like thinking about the like. Oh, this okay. So Shaman goes here, but I think you definitely don't need those tribesmen here, because what will happen is just like from the first turn you will be threatened. This giant moves forward, this guy moves forward, this guy moves forward, these guys will be very late to the party. Deploying chariots on a very deep flank is a bit weird. Although there is a unit of big dogs, so maybe they will have some role. Although those big dogs can even threaten those chariots, because chariots when they are not charging, they just do nothing, and those dogs have a decent amount of attacks. So I don't know. the other question is whether he needs to chaff on the first round, but it would seem foolish not to chaff if you decided to go for this kind of position where you grab the first round, where you want to go as much forward as possible. Okay, banning time! Yay! Now to remember which direction is it. Yay! Good. 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 Okay, so back to the game. We have yeah, this deployment is okay. What? So the gargoyles didn't deploy in the ruins? Well, they can still deploy like just 18 from the hunter and just to position in front of them. So yeah, that's not a problem. Which spells will... Okay, so you will have a problem, I think, in the first... Well, will you have a problem? Probably not. But do you just take the swarm of insects? Or... Okay, so those gargoyles will help the right flank, so maybe the Orok there was not so bad. But although I think... I don't know. I still would feel pretty comfortable. Because this will be a bottleneck here anyway. And the Orok doesn't want to get charged, although... Do you want to take the charge on the Yetis and then counter charge with the Orok? This makes no sense. They are light troops. They will just probably run away. Although they might still do a lot of damage to Goltak. They have. Well, they have all no. They will have like not 21. Let's say 18 attacks because one might die from the impacts. I think this is exaggeration. So probably actually full 21 attacks on the 3 ups, on 5 ups. Okay, maybe that's not so bad. Maybe that's not so bad after all. Maybe that's not so bad. So they probably can just take the charge. So if they can take the charge from the Gortak, then putting the gargoyles here is just a waste. Maybe they cannot take the charge from the Gortak. Interesting, very interesting. If they will be faced like this, just looking this direction, then I'm pretty sure that you don't want to chaff with the gargoyles, that you will just put the giant next to them and the other guy next to them. And also, you manage to put them in such a way that the Orok cannot charge through them, so... Okay, yeah, you just reforms them. Hey Lamronchak, how are you? How are you doing? Did you get maybe the access to the alpha here? Did you get to test it? By the way, playing Warhall, are you playing now? Okay, let's maybe check out the other rooms. There is a new team. But I don't have password, and this I don't think is a player. So I don't know. Where are you? How are you playing Warhall? What? Are you one of those players? And I don't know about it because you have a weird nickname here? JDS. Oh, you played this afternoon. Okay, how was it? Which army did you play in against? Well, probably demons, but against who? Probably demons. I would bet on demons, but I don't know. You might have changed your mind a bit. Anyways, now we are from the perspective of the ogres. Okay, so first turn beast hearts. The giants have the vanguard as well, right? And they have. Did he didn't buy the looted boost, so he cannot transfer to strength 5. It's interesting. Can he get out of line of sight of the dogs? Oops. There is some hiccup. Okay, but I think it's gone. Yeah, he can definitely get out of line of sight. But you will crush me when I want. Yeah, unfortunately, well, I'm glad that I managed to find time for this commentary now. but start of the semester is really terrible for me. Like, so many things to deal with. Ugh, I hate it. Especially like those formal things, and then I have to like learn what do I need to teach and so on. Yeah, that's just not good. I don't think that this hunter can take on the Mino for some reason, but I don't know why. But now the Beast Cat player is in a very weird position, because he basically locked himself from pushing forward in the middle. So that's super strange. He wants to dominate the flanks and just leave the center, I guess. But well, with this Vanguard, I kind of forgot that the Giants Vanguard. So there is that. But yeah. Okay, and this one is now one big trap. So I'm just not sure on what the exact plan is. Because okay, the deployment of the Ogre player is decent. I would probably argue that those catapults are a bit misplaced, and that those dogs could be better placed so that the giant cannot escape the line of sight. But in general, it is decently solid. It is a decently solid positioning to be able to defend. Although, what's going on here? Is he just baiting with a giant, and then he will take the charge on the giant and counter charge with the Mino? But there are scraplings in the ruins that will completely mess this up. I'm not sure. How far is this? This is 18. 18 is 11 rerollable for the... Yeah. I don't think that this is the best way of handling things, but yeah. Without your chaff in the right spots, I think it will be decently hard to approach this middle, but maybe he doesn't want to approach this. But the problem is that he doesn't outcharge his opponent. Like, if you're playing, for example, Sylvan Elves, you have all your very fighty units at movement 9 Swift, right? So, well, you basically don't really care about what's going on with your opponent. You don't really need to chaff him if you are in these fighting positions, because you're faster. So he will not really dare approach you unless your units really suck. So yeah, there is this kind of problem. But now, you know, here the ogres are actually outspeeding the beast cats. So like, great that you are kind of moving forward, but how are you going to approach this? Oh yeah, those catapults are definitely super misplaced. Like, if they were countering the giants, then they might have actually like 2 catapults. I think can easily charge the giant and probably push him. But now, like, those giants, he can probably just put the giant here so that 2 dogs connect. They have no musicians, so they will not be able to flee. And if like 2 dogs connect, then I think the giant can be pretty good against the dogs. So those gargoyles here, definitely, and allowing the opponent those scraplings here, I don't know. I would 100% put 1 gargoyles here in the ruins to deny my opponent this option of scout, and then the second ones will go to either flank, to the either flank. Although putting both of them on the different flanks is just weird. So again, here it is a very simple plan. Like, you put this giant in front of those dogs, and you put the second giant like in front of the catapults, and then what? And you are out of the line of sight of this hunter easily. Like, now your Gotha can probably also be out of line of sight of this hunter, which is also a misplay. Like, it was enough to tilt it just a bit. So yeah. So I was thinking that the ogres are actually in a fine position, but now I have my doubts. Also, this Vanguard is super illegal, because it brings a thing. Because cannot be closer than 12, although it doesn't matter that much. But why cannot I click on? I cannot switch. Okay, this is something interesting to notice, that I cannot switch my terrains to 2D. So that's weird. Although I think handling this for all the spectators might have been a bit too complicated. So, okay. For now, I just cannot click on those, but I just wanted to check whether they have some magical special rule that allows them to be within, because over 6 from this guy, even this one is not okay, but over 12 from this guy. So, but anyways, yeah, the fact that this Gortak can get out of line of sight of this guy is just wow. This is it. There is good and there is not good, and that's not good. Then this giant, like, already threatening the shaman. The Gortak threatening the shaman with a bit longer charge. Can this guy get out of the line of sight? Yes, I think the Minolord can also get, although he will be a bit displaced, but. What is this? Dangerous terrain checks? For Vanguard? What? What? Oh. I think this is completely unnecessary. Like, you just put the giant in a way that only 2 dogs can charge him, and then it's done. Like, the dogs cannot charge the giant if only 2 dogs can connect. If all dogs can connect, then what? Then they have 12, 15 attacks with offensive 4, 15 attacks, offensive 4, 10 hits, that's 3 wounds. I still don't think that they can charge, even if all of them can touch. But I think you could easily do so that 2 dogs can touch, and your giant is well placed. The dogs cannot move. You save your chaff, then you put your the other giant here. Yeah, this is good. And then like Gortak, Minolod, chariots, all that good stuff. And on the other side, I actually don't know what the plan might be here. This side is definitely much harder because it is better covered by the Aurochs. But I think he would be kind of okay just ignoring maybe this flank, maybe just trying to align a bit more, like maybe put the Wildhorns forward and then put the Minolod in the Whitehorns so that they are unthreatened by the hunter, so that your shaman has 24 to the yeah, this one. That's just crazy talk. 10 rerollable from the hill for the hunter to just charge your Mino general. Yeah, because this is general, I think. Wow. It's just crazy talk. By the way, is music at okay level? Because I really don't know. I think that it might be a bit too low, but on the recent video I got the comment that it was a bit too high, so I put it a bit down. Also, yeah, I can barely hear it honestly, but that's because my sound is much down. Yeah, and we see that especially with the very dynamic armies like Beast Heads or like Ogres, it is really hard to play without marking of the units. Like, if he leaves this Mino like this is crazy. This left flank is just so good, so that, okay, chaffing with the giant is also an option, but then like, okay, he kills your gargoyles with yetis, and how do you deal with the yetis afterwards? I also like the fact that this giant cannot be charged by neither of the monsters, probably, or can he? Forward clip, he probably cannot be charged. Although it would be safer if he was just a tiny bit closer. Let's see. Okay, he is not actually chuffing this guy. And we can see it very clearly. Oh, that's so cool. So cool. Oh, I can zoom in even more. Wow, this is far more than the max zoom on UB. Wow. Okay, anyways, this guy is not chuffed. Just know. So I don't know, some questionable decisions on both sides so far, but we'll see. I can get a top view. Okay, nice. I don't want top view. I want a normal view. I want to have a normal game. Okay. So on the left side, I would say that this is in no way any kind of blunder with this giant and gargoyles, but I would say that this is kind of inaccuracy, because those gargoyles, if they were in the ruins, then you can just put them in front of here, and then you don't care. I'm sure what they are talking, they mentioned that this guy is chuffed, so yeah, you just shouldn't worry about this. But if this was not mentioned, then this is a terrible position for the Beast Health player. But I'm sure that they mentioned it. So, because otherwise, I don't know. Like this hunter on a roll of 9 gets into your mage and just slaughters your mage. I don't know. Doesn't seem that great. Doesn't seem that great. So yeah, Mino definitely had to be here, because otherwise it makes no sense. Because the Gortak itself cannot just go into those Yetis. So he was measuring something about the Mammoth. Probably if he can fit here, but we can see it maybe a bit easier. I don't know. We cannot see the distance from this one. How do we measure this the easiest way? Because it kind of seems like after this charge he can fit, but it's very close, so he probably just positioned it so that he cannot fit together with the Yetis. If he can't fit together with the Yetis, then this is terrible again, because this is an overrun on an 8, very easy overrun, and then like one Mino is very threatened, the other Mino is getting smacked maybe by this hunter. He moved it a bit, I think, so this is 18 now, so 18, 11 rerollable, still not great. But if I were the Ogre player, would I take it? Gosh, the left flank just looks so bad that I don't know if I can afford to take this. Like if this left flank wasn't getting so crushed, then this 11 charge is like super free, because like if this Mino was in front of this, just perfectly aligned in front of this guy. Okay, I think this was the beast. Was this the beast? This must have been the beast, because you are rolling 4 dice for the beast and 3 dice for the missile. Or was it 4 dice for the missile? No, I think that was 4 dice for the beast and then 3 dice for the missile, and then we'll see the result of the missile. Unless this was a missile and the 21 is number of hits, but I don't think so because he didn't roll it yet. So anyway, the point is that if he was aligned perfectly, like straightforward, then okay, it is 18, the guy fails the charge, let's say he fails on a 5, then it's 13, and then it's a charge on a 7. Okay, but now, if with this alignment, I think he will easily lose more than 1 inch on the wheel. So it will be like a 9 counter charge, which 9 counter charge is not great. Even 8 counter, probably 8 counter charge, but even 8 counter charge is not great. And he has those trappers here, which can just move around and... What? Did he take the Chilling Howl? Okay, I definitely need to be able to install this camera here, because what? How does this make any sense? How does this make any sort of sense? Also, why does he have so many spells? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Suspicious. What? Is this like some kind of mistake? He wanted to roll a swarm of insects into him? What's going on? Am I being pranked? Like, man, you cannot be scared of those. Oh, some dog died. I see. What did it die from? Did those dogs fail a panic check? But they have a reroll. Oh, this was just a giant. Also, isn't this doesn't this hunter give the dogs leadership 9 within 18? Okay, they cannot use the BS. I am super confused on what's going on. Yes, okay, I will not. Yeah, I just don't know some rules, so I should just shut up. The model has commanding presence, so I'm pretty sure they are leadership. I'm pretty sure that they should be leadership 9 reliable, but... Oh, is there an option for the private message? There is no option for private message. But what am I missing? This is definitely super bad for the Ogre player. Now he cannot even claim those 3 gargoyles. But what am I missing? Someone please help me. I think they have, like, this guy, this hunter has 18-inch leadership for the dogs and for the dogs, and then he has 18-inch BSB. So they should be 9 reliable, but they are like 0 reliable as far as I can see. Okay. The chat is very slow today. What's going on? Am I just not reading something, or are you guys just paying attention to my excellent commentary? Anyways, what is this savage feud? What is this chilling call here? Like, this guy will not be will not shoot you. This guy will definitely not be shooting at you. He will. I think this charge with the hunter is very free. So this hunter into this giant is like super free charge. It's very aggressive play from Beast Heads. But what's the point of Chilling Howl? And why do those dogs not have leadership 9 reliable? Like, those are 2 very important questions that I have now. And like, those Minnow Warlords is positioned badly. He could have been positioned a bit more to the center so that the Mammoth Hunter doesn't have a very free charge in the giant, because if he pushes through the giant, although he probably doesn't push through the giant. I don't know. Is this desperation time? That's a very good question. Okay, 4 guys dead. What happened? 4 wounds here. What happened here? The beast barrel is not that strong, is it? Because I think this was just the barrel doing its job, because he has triple barrel, but strength 4, AP 0. And he did 4 wounds with that. Strength 4, AP 0. Wow. Good player. Yeah, I can respect this. I can respect this. Yeah, he dealt. Yeah, and he failed all the ammo saves. Wow. Respectable. Anyways, what's happening here? So now, how do you get out of this conundrum if you are the Beast Class player? So okay, I think Yetis just charge and you chop with the dog this Minotaur and you charge just here. Do you add those tribesmen into this guy? The answer is fries, because maybe this is a good idea, because maybe then your general will not be hurt, and then those guys are closer. Well, you might not want to use them as chaff, but maybe you will be forced to, so they are not bad here. And then yeah, this dog just keeps the Mino Lord in check, and then you just push forward. The Yetis can definitely take the charge, although this Orok, like he doesn't have that much future here, I think. Okay, was this some kind of charge? It's very hard. Well, is it hard to commentate? I don't know. I mean, in the times when you don't know what the guys are rolling. For some reason here it doesn't come very naturally to me yet. On UB, I felt like, yeah, I exactly know what. Okay, here is the charge. This front. Is this charge legal? Is this charge... Okay, so they didn't set it up. If this charge is legal into the gargoyles, and they failed their leadership check because this is not the general... Well, even if they pass the leadership check, then Orok just overruns into this Minotaur. This is the non-Mino Lord, so let's see what are his non... Okay, so this is toughness 6 and 4-up regen guy. I am very surprised by what's happening here, especially because, well, this Mino Lord will be a bit. No, he will not be that far. So this hunter charging here means that this Mino Lord. Okay. This battle is very interesting. What? Is he checking now whether the Orok can fit there? Because I was convinced that it might not be able to fit there, but let's see. You need 4 inches. Oh, it's easily fitting. It's fitting there, I think. It's fitting there, and it has an overrun on 8. To get into the Mino Lord, so wow, that's just yeah, he's fitting there. All right. Okay, I was sure that he would position it like if those gargoyles were like 1 inch to the left, then this was impossible. I think. Pretty sure. Although maybe then the Yetis would have a bigger wheel, but I don't know. Is this charge possible though? If this charge is possible, then everything that the beast player position just doesn't make any sense. Also, those catapults, if look, if just they were looking the other way, then it would be very nice. Like double catapult now charges the giant, or like catapult charges one charges the giant and one charges the gargoyles. Can he close this door? Oh, maybe he can close like this. Yeah, he surely can. Yeah, definitely. Definitely he can close this door. Although, what was the point of that when now you will get charged by the Mino Lord? Oh no, you will not get, because you have those scrappings here that I forgot about. Well, good. So what is this hunter doing? It's a very good question. Okay, so it seems that one flank is crumbling for the Ogre player and the other flank is completely crumbling for the Beast Cats player. And I think that both of those things could have been fairly easily avoided. So, I don't know. It's a weird situation. I think actually this is wrong. I think how he positioned last time was better because you need to move the opponent's unit the least. So actually touching like this is the way to go. So this is probably the optimal way of doing this. But now, like, what does this hunter do? I have zero idea. He cannot fit here. He can he? He might be able to go and shoot at this giant. And you trap this guy with the trappers. And you have this flank handled. And then, yeah. It's just, I'm still bizarred by the fact that those tigers didn't have... like, what? Maybe Caps can someday tell me. But I would thought that this guy gives 18-inch leadership to, and both the, or maybe it doesn't work on the units of tigers. Units of saber-tooth tigers can benefit from it. So he has commanding presence, and because he's big, then he has commanding presence within 18, and then he gets the BSB. Are there any restrictions near the BSB that say that nobody can use it? No. Okay, so I don't understand what's going on. Can someone please explain this to me? Wow. Just... Okay, and now... But now you don't want this, you don't want to chaff this guy. You just went for an overrun on an 8 and you are just praying that your Rock makes it in. Although I still don't think that he will be able to push this Mino, because this Mino has toughness 5 4-up ward. You have 6 impacts, 5, you deal like 2 or 3 wounds. He has 5 wounds and you have some attacks if you manage to survive that long. I don't know. Well, you probably will manage to survive that long, but then Battle Focus is a very balanced rule, and he has 5 attacks on 2-up rerollable, and then 4-up rerollable. Well, probably he cannot kill you, but together with Gortak he probably can. And you are only Agi 3 and Gortak is Agi 4 on charge. So probably you will just get the impact hits and then you will die. Although, if he charges the Gortak in, then... Well, if you place this guy right, although I don't know if he will fit. Okay, and now like this battle is a bit too crazy for me, I think. It's just wild and unpredictable. It's a pity we cannot identify who is rolling dice. I think, yeah, I think this is just the last person who was like, I think Che is rolling dice and then he's just rolling dice, rolling dice, rolling dice, rolling dice, rolling dice. So I would say that that it's just one guy. Yeah, but I also noticed that this is a bit annoying because you have to know who is doing the stuff. But I think when the other guy starts rolling, then his name definitely pops up. So you can recognize it by this this little feature. But yeah. You have to like I guess if you come in I would have to test like if you I can test this. Like just go here. Close. Passwords. Also still annoyed that there are passwords, but passwords. I will kick Borcha out of the league because he doesn't want to give me password. Raur. Okay, Spanish dudes doing the Spanish things. Anyways, let's see now if he starts rolling dice whether his name pops up or not. Or maybe it is for any action, because you can see that for the first time he moved something, it says his name, but the second one, yeah. I think you can turn off the movement log, because, well, you don't really need it when you are not the player, right? So the movement log is not really necessary, I would say, if you are not the player. And also it is not really necessary if you are the player. The only way it is necessary is that if you really distrust your opponent, I think. So yeah, very rarely I think it comes into play. But yeah, when did I last see the movement log really coming into play? I.e. someone really using it to check something. I don't know, I think it sometimes happens automatically since there is a lot of movement logs. But again, you definitely don't need that if you are not the player. If you are the player, then yeah, definitely you like that. But let's see how far is this charge for the go attack. Okay, that's decently hard. That's decently far actually. That's 16. Interesting. Yeah, just a shame that the Gortak cannot see those tribesmen, right? So this catapult is saved, and now. Okay, this catapult will also be saved, because he will just go like here. You can see my mouse, right? Yeah, you can see my mouse. So it will just, yeah. So the left flank, if the Tigers didn't fail their leadership check, which they shouldn't fail, I think, then it would be okay. Like maybe you can just sacrifice those Tigers to get rid of the gargoyles, and you put one catapult here and one catapult here. This was also a good position for this catapult. If I think if he decided to charge the Gortak into that catapult, I would just probably flee, because then I can be positioned a bit better in this corner, which would be my guess. Yeah, the ogre definitely dominated now the right flank. Although if he doesn't reach the overrun, that might be bad for him. Also. This Orok will not do that much damage to the Mine Lord even if he reaches, because if the Gortak charges back, Flammy, you are yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, there is this Trello board where you can ask for the features, so I think that's good. I was also I was thinking about Warhall recently, and I had some feature in mind. And then it was just before I went to bed, and then I fell asleep, and then I forgot what the feature was supposed to be. So game. Yeah. So for now, I think that it starts looking a bit better for the ogre player if he reaches, because Okay, let's say he just gives up his Mammoth Hunter to deal like 3 wounds to this Minnow, and then the Gortak also has to charge the Rock Orok. Then what did he achieve on this flank? He killed the Giant. This Mammoth Hunter is just uncountered, so he can just reform easily, although this Tribesman just blocked the reform, so they are positioned very badly, because then this Hunter will not be able to reform as he pleases. But in general, what will happen is that okay, so those Yetis actually might not be able to kill the Gortak even if it charges the Rock Orok, because there will be just ambushers coming out. The music alone, okay. Thank you, Frederick. I usually have a bit more rough music. I usually have Soadin or Black Sabbath or something, but today there is something a bit more calm for my taste. So yeah, so what probably will happen next turn, what would be my guess, although it might not be very easy to position if the overplayer does this properly, but this guy, if he overruns in the Minnow, then Gortak countercharges and one of the ambushes just sacrifices itself to chaff the Yetis. I don't know what to do with this Hunter. I would guess that the Wildhorns just have to go back, and the Minnow just cannot charge those Scraplings because this is a death sentence for him. Probably. Can he take this charge? I don't know if he can take this charge. I don't think that he can take this. He can take this charge. And here we have, okay, this is good. Although this is too close. He managed to put his Scrotapult before at 15, and now it is at 14. So this definitely, like, if the Gortak charges here, then I think his intent is that there is no overrun to the Frost Mammoth, which clearly states that he doesn't want to flee. Although this is a charge on a 7, so I'm not sure. I would definitely plan on just putting it on an 8, and if the opponent, because the opponent might just not declare the charge, and if the opponent declares the charge, then I would just flee. I would end up somewhere behind the Scraplings. I would have leadership 9 for the Scraplings. If I position them a bit better, then maybe the Scratapult would even be able to reach into 12 of this guy. Yeah. So I'm used to listen Soad on this channel. Yes. But this is all coming from the fact that when I always was watching hero streams, then all of them just were playing Soad in the background. So yeah, I think I just got infected, and now I have like I even have Soad CDs. I think I have like 3 Soad CDs, because when I'm driving around in my car, it's actually sometimes better for me just to listen to the CDs. So I have like 10 different CDs, and 3 of those are Soad. Some are Black Sabbath, and then I have some weird stuff as well, like Caravan Palace. 6, that's not enough. That's barely missing it. So will we see the guy? Okay, he is not wasting the scepter. There are pretty calm songs. You can recommend some good music. Furion, good to see you here. How are you? How do you enjoy Like's new list? Furion, do you want to share some music that we listened to when we were going? Yeah, I just remembered. God, no. I don't want any recommendations from you, Jurek. Those songs were good to keep us awake, but nothing else. Yeah. Some calm songs. I think more calm songs come from the Serge Tankian himself. So all those Sky is Over and all this stuff, the things that he did himself, and they are definitely much calmer. Soad has some calm things, but most of it is like Deer Dance or something, so not really that calm. Although I'm no music expert, so maybe I shouldn't be talking about this. So he dispelled something. Smite the Unbeliever here. Wow, what? Oh, I guess he dispelled the Hand of Heaven, and now he has nothing. So probably Cleansing Fire on someone is good, like on this catapult. Cleansing Fire on this catapult to... Cleansing Fire on this shaman makes no sense, because you don't have the range to shoot it. Spiders is pretty calm. Yeah, it is, but like you don't have a calm album. You just have like one or two things on each album that are calm. Other than that, yeah. Okay, so this one is in. He got the breath weapon on his shaman. That makes no sense. Conan soundtrack. Do we want to try that, or do we want to stick to Red Hot Chili Peppers? I don't really know. I recently had some trouble. I think I have to improve my music education a bit, because well, when I was young I was listening to like Metallica, AC/DC, so like okay, let's look at it. Soundtrack. What is this? Conan the Barbarian soundtrack. Really? Okay, let's take a look. Oh no, please. No ads. No. Okay. Let's see how this will go. But anyways, I was always like more at the rock type, but like as calm as you can get, like AC/DC, Metallica. This is very vanilla stuff, so not so like as mainstream as you can get, I guess. Yeah, and then I just kind of switched to like things like Sword or Black Sabbath or like Caravan Palace, which is like the only electro swing that I can tolerate, and it is nice. I like it. And yeah, and I have some like Gorillas. Gorillas are nice. Okay, let's enjoy this for a moment. What? What? No, I know that I could. What? What is this? What is this? I was like, trees make lag. Okay, yeah, it's 30. It went down to 30 FPS. But what? Why did I was what? Yeah, I know. Hugo showed me this. But what? He only showed me like because he was at we were at 1, I think, and he wanted to try on my laptop whether it will not crash if I will decrease it to -1, and so he only showed me this way around, and this what is this? What is this? I'm like a kid at the candy store. This is such a nice eye candy. Borcha game password is Ogre. Okay, so we might visit that a bit later, or maybe soon. Anyways, like, what is this? Okay, let's get rid of the trees so that it doesn't lag. But okay, so I see those forests. Okay, that was like, wow, so amazing. Yeah. Okay, but well, it increased. But by the way, I think I need to get my laptop to some kind of service, because I had these problems with it for a while, and I just don't know what really is causing them. I think it's just old and some component. Like, I think that this is the heating issue, because I would much rather love to play at my laptop, and then I can control the stream much more, and then I can have the alerts box and all that, and my camera everywhere and so on. But my computer, it has like i7 processor, it has like 20 gigabytes of RAM, it has a good graphics card. It's like this, maybe not good nowadays, but it's good for the laptop. I think it's like 960M, I think. So that's not a bad graphics card. And okay, did he make it? Yeah, he did make it. And this is clearly a flank, and he cannot make it a front. Yeah, exactly as I expected. So I would rather put him in on the left so that the Yetis can reform better. But anyways, and my laptop, when I'm looking at the FPS, I have like 300. So it's crazy. Like it should work so much better than this PC, because this PC is actually complete trash. Well, it's not complete trash, but it's an old PC that just my parents used to do some office work, in a sense. So it's in no way going to be like any gaming computer or anything. So this like my father was super surprised that something works on his computer and it doesn't work on my computer. Yeah, he ignores Yeti in overrun, but he still cannot be positioned legally anywhere here on the right side. So he has to be like this. And yeah, I think this is bad position. Well, he might be afraid of some long Gortak overruns afterwards, but I think it's more important to give your Yetis the breathing space, because if the Yetis gets charged in the flank, then although, okay, does he just chaff the Gortak now? I don't think he does. I think it just doesn't work. Yeah, it just doesn't work. Although it's still super nice on how can he. Yeah. Should I tell them about the show pivot? Okay, I accidentally got to the top view. Yeah. Yeah, I hope I at least helped them now and repaid for the fact that I asked question about the rules that I didn't know, but maybe they didn't know. I don't know. So anyways, yeah, those Yetis here definitely cannot chaff it like this, and I was expecting that, although like the fact that he cannot, that he can, like those reforms, this is so amazing, like this is so troublesome on UB, and here it is like 2 seconds. Great. And he definitely has to put the Orok to the left, because now if the Gortak decides to charge the Yetis, then oh, can he even charge the Yetis? I think he was just unable to charge the Yetis. I'm just, yeah, I might be just stupid. He's just unable to charge the Yetis because nobody can close the door. Wow. It's so nasty. This is just a normal trick, obviously, but yeah, he definitely needs to. So I would say that he might not have noticed this. But I'm pretty sure, because this is definitely not blocked path, because the guy can just charge the Orok. So the Yetis are just unchargeable now, which is interesting. Okay, and this is, I believe, the Hunter into the Giant, and he dealt only 2 wounds from the impact hit. 3 wounds from the impact hit because they are strength 7, right. And the Mammoth is a bit too far, so I think this is a bit of a misplay, unless because like, look, half an inch closer, and then the Giant strikes after the Orok, so yeah, that would be much better for him, because now look, this Giant at 2 wounds will get to have all his 10 attacks, only with strength 5, but still 10 attacks on 3 ups, on 5 ups, this is likely to be 2 wounds. So yeah, it was just slight misplay, I think. Does he have a body here on top of this Orok? He might not have a body. He might be very alone here on the top of the Orok. So let's take a look at this. Oh, he has no body. Unless they actually set this up so that this is 9 inch and that, because maybe I'm just looking at this a bit wrong, but it seems that this is very, yeah. So he is only agility 3 on charges, you can see here. Yeah, so the Giant gets to attack. Nasty. 7 attacks, 2 wounds, as I predicted. 6 up save, so probably fail both. What was this reroll? Yeah, so two wounds to the Orok, so that's just although he tried to heal, but he didn't manage to heal. Although I don't know if he could actually heal, because is this the whole model of Hunter healing? I never remember this because nobody pretty much plays this. By the bearer at the end. By the bearer. Yes, exactly. So as I said, he couldn't actually heal. He couldn't attempt to heal because to heal, the hunter has to deal the last wound, which was not the case here because the Orok dealt the last wound. So yeah, that was just unfortunate. And similarly, if you charge this guy into the champion, okay, and you look at this. They obviously are playing a very, very casual game, but normally those tribesmen here would be just a disaster because you can see that the Orok is too close to them. So I don't know if they are playing that casual game and he will allow him to just back off, like, because this is like those guys could just back off a bit. So it just doesn't matter. But just looking at this position after he moved the tribesmen, it was already easy to point out that that this was a bad call and that this was not going to help. Okay, yeah, and I think that now he's like super. Okay, so this the fact that this overrun reached was important, but here this was a mess up. This was like half an inch change on the Frost Mammoth, and he easily could have gotten there, and then he wouldn't have lost those 2 wounds. So you see how very, very tiny little details can really change the outcome. And now we have a giant here forcing a panic check on those dogs. And they actually managed to stick. The charge is in on... Okay, and now it's very, very, very hard to say. Okay, Flammy, you are the expert of this. Which one is an inch? Here is an inch? Or here is an inch? Or in the middle is an inch? The start, the end, or the middle? I think that's a very important question because very, very often this happens on UB, that you had such discussions because the line is not a line, it's basically just a set of lines, in fact. You can just call it like... the intersection of 2 circles, right? I think it is middle. Okay. And if you ask me on how to solve this problem, then my answer is I don't know. And okay, and he decided to put his to flee with his catapult anyway, which is weird. Like, if you wanted to flee with your okay, maybe it's actually better now because he's within 12 of the hunter, but hunter might be charging anyway, so I don't know. But if he decided to flee with this catapult, then I think maybe now he just found the better spot so that the catapult sticks here. So maybe I just have to swallow my previous words. Although he might still be on the hill, so I don't know. This giant could have just pushed him off the board, right? This giant just pushes him off the board, and then the giant has to pass the redirect check. But if he doesn't pass the redirect check, then nothing bad is happening. So that's good. How far is this Gotak here? It is 15. So he needs an 8. So we'll see if he can reach. And in the meantime, well, here nothing major. Yeah, this Gortak obviously. So we being able and tell the shortest distance. Yeah, that was what we already at some point asked on UB, but I forgot about it. Thank you, Rismaden. That would be super nice if that was a feature. If you click on 2 models, and then it just says what's the distance. This has been suggested before. We definitely want that. Great. That's really good news. And do you know which version are you going with for the marking of the models? Are you just going to mark the whole army with the button, or are you going to go for mark the unit one by one? Because I know that this is somewhere, probably, I hope somewhere pretty high on the list, but okay. So the Gordak made it, which is interesting, and one giant made it, and then the second one can fit definitely. Like you can, but I think this giant must have failed if he. I'm not sure if I understand the question. Yeah, because I saw that it was considered to have two things, like either have a button to say, okay, I press the button and then it leaves like a footprint of the unit or something, so that, you know, after I move it, I can go back with it. Like because what is very common at any level of play, I think, is that especially if you have an aggressive army. Oh, probably with both. You just move you just mark your units at the start of the turn, then you move your units to a desired position, and then you check if it's okay. If the position is okay, then you go with it. If it's not, then you want to back your whole army. Then you want to put your whole army back on the position where they started. Maybe I'm exaggerating that this is the whole army, but some parts of the army at least. So the point was to be able to mark the units. Also, I have to tell those guys that they can remove the deployment lines. But anyways, the whole point was to mark the units. You can either click on one unit and then click some button and then it will mark the unit in some way, or you can just click at the start of or you can just have the button at the start of your turn that you click, and then it marks your whole army automatically. So those were the two options that I've heard were considered for this. So I don't know if I explained myself clearly enough. Oh, maybe they don't want to remove the deployment lines because they are playing breakthrough. So yeah, maybe you probably know, because the option is very, very clear. The system is super intuitive. So they probably know, but since they are playing breakthrough, then those deployment lines are actually super useful. Also, I was talking with Bernie today, and he told me that he checked out the Warhall, and that he's super stoked, and that he thinks that this is really cool. If he's in chat, he can confirm or accuse me of lying, but yeah, I think that I'm right, and that he really likes it. Okay, so you can if this was a bit further, which I still don't have a good sense of this, and maybe because, well, if you play on UB, you have like this constant view. This is allowed. What? Like cheating to do that? No, this is like actually players super encourage others to do that. Like, you want to consider your options. If you couldn't mark it, then you would take ages to just measure stuff without moving your unit. Like what players would do, or I think they were kind of doing. Okay, first of all, they were just marking the units with dice, but you could just like do some substitutes and place it in other way. But I think this is something that actually very much improves the game for both players. And then it is very easy to check whether the movement of your opponent is valid or if it was illegal. So yeah. Also, while the Bisha player is doing some moves, we can go to the Bocha game. It was Ogre. Is it secret? I hope not. There are some errors, but okay, let's not look at it, but because maybe they have some secret armies. The best way, one button to mark your army, and then a button that would allow you to roll back any unit. Oh yeah, I get your point. Like in chess, you have this rule that the piece that has been touched has to be moved, and the piece that has been placed has to stay there. But in chess, you are limited to one move per turn. Here, you can here you can see like 20 units at the same time. So, like, okay, we also have only 6 turns. So in a sense, the chess is much more linear. Like the tree is much deeper. I cannot say that it is much more linear because it still has a lot of options. But the tree is like very deep, but not super wide usually, because most of the moves make no sense. So the tree is like pretty limited in the width, but it is very long. In the 9th age, the tree is short in the length because it has only 6 turns, but it is super wide. Right? You have like a crazy amount of things that you can do with every unit. And yeah, it's not clear at all which decision is good or not, and there are far more moves at any given turn than there are in chess. Very first attempt to do it, looks awesome so far and easy to use. Look, Flammy, they are telling you that this is great. So congrats, guys. I'm really super impressed by this game. Yeah. Okay, and let's take a look at. Let's actually think about what's going on in this game. Maybe I see. Are those new models for Feldrax? Or no? I just didn't use Feldrax yet. I just didn't put Feldrax in my army. There is also a hunter. What? 2 games of ogres, and both of them have hunter on the Tusker. On the not on the Tusker, on the Rock Orok. Interesting. Tribesmen here. I like the concept of 2 small units of tribesmen instead of 1 big block. I think I like it. So Blazing Glory. I don't think. Maybe this is. Oh, this might be the hunter with the bigger base, because normally your hunter is 40 by 40, but I think he has the leader of the pack, so his hunter has to be 50 by 50. So he couldn't find an appropriate model. There is a herald here, very standard thingy. There are warrior knights fighting the yetis, and this is already magic phase. And he rolled 1. Wow, what is this crap? I don't know what those warrior knights are, but they have. I guess they are great weapons since they have Word of Iron on them. Oroks are back on the menu, I guess. Yeah, Oroks were always kind of okay, but the hero on the Orok was always kind of meh. So I don't know what happened that all of a sudden he is supposedly viable, and I guess this is also a wildcards list. So this is probably a BSB here as well. Slave Giant. I think he oh, is this Ogre? Is this how Ogre Giant looks like? It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Ogres, yeah. So it looks like a classic positional game, although how far is this? Those Tuskers have great weapons, right? So can they take the charge from the Feldrak, and can they actually push him back? Also, there are Warhounds here. I don't know what happened here, but this looks like if those knights hold, then it looks very good for the ogre, for the warriors player, I think. Although Borcha is a pretty good player and he's been doing very well in the league. He has been using a very similar list recently, and he was just pushing. What is this? 19. Those cannot be warrior. Those look like Yetis, but Kamaris is not playing ogres, I think. I think he's not. But let's see if Borcha will start removing the warrior knights. Oh, he will. Oh, he will. So Borcha is actually playing warriors. Interesting. Interesting. Also, why wasn't he positioned on the wall to have distracting? I don't know, but he's playing warriors. And you can see he probably has great weapons then. So he has 8 attacks, 3 ups, 2 3 ups. all hits. And we will see how many wounds. I would say that they have to have great weapons, otherwise the Word of Iron makes no sense on them. So it's like 5 wounds. So will they? Maybe they will even break those Yetis, and then this is tragic. And then yeah, like you have an excellent position like this guy. There is not that much counter to him. Anyways, those guys can even attempt to charge, honestly. Okay, and there is also 1 wound from the Horsey, but I think Horsey is AP 0. 25 warriors with Mark and Battle Shrine Death Star. I don't know if this is a wizard on the Battle Shrine or not. Well, no, I don't think so, because you have... Although, I think it honestly might be. There is a giant here, right? Because you have a sorcerer, you have a shrine, you have this guy. So it would feel weird if you also had a wizard here. But again... and this seems to be King of the Hill. And I think both of them might have marked the forest. Which is weird considering how the Ogre player is positioned, because he's definitely much more oriented here. So I just wonder what was the break test. The charge and the wound. So 2 versus 5 wounds. So -3. What is my thought on Warrior Knights? The Great Weapon ones. I was all for them up until the point when I started thinking about them, and I noticed that they cannot fight. Like, I played a game with the Warriors, and the guy had, I think, like 6 with Great Weapons, and my Imperial Guards just charged them and just shreked them over 2 turns, and I had like only 21 or 22 Imperial Guards, and at this point I felt like, yeah, your unit is more expensive, your army is fighty army, my army is not very fighty army, and my infantry unit still pushes you, so I don't know. I felt like I was cheating, so I then started counting some combats on the Warrior Knights, and yeah, it didn't go very well for the poor Warrior Knights, in my opinion. But okay, so I think he managed to stay here, and he just failed his reform check. So it's not as bad as it could have been. Anyways, I think that the Knights are not that bad, but probably need some kind of support, and yeah. I'm just not a huge fan of units that have 1-up save and very low wounds and are very expensive. So like I play in the league this list with the Raptors, and I already hate it because yeah, like the Raptors are not good. Like, okay, they are good, they are great, and so on. Like they are super killy, but it just doesn't feel good to play this kind of a unit, honestly. I would just wonder what manifestations does this Herald have, because I think it is very likely that he can take discharge of this hunter, so he can just charge the giant, charge here the Yetis. If he doesn't want to charge the Feldrak Elder here, then okay, he can also charge the Chosen Knight into the giant. If the Chosen Knights are the best Chosen Knights that you can get, which is the last Chosen Knights, then this charge on the giant is super free, because even if you feel like you cannot take this Blazing Glory, then you just flee. And yeah, you are done. So that's good. And then you can rally and then march after you rallied. So nasty. Those warriors, like if you don't feel like charging the Feldrak Elder into those Tuskers, then like charging those warriors into those Tuskers should be a no-brainer, right? Although the sorcerer might die, but you just destroy the whole center of the battlefield, and there are no good counter charges. Like what, the giant and the mammoth are supposed to kill you, because you will just use those dogs then to clean up those tribesmen. This is a charge on a 10, so this is not a very close charge, but it's not a bad charge, definitely. I don't know, although I might be underestimating those Tuskers, but I've seen them being trashed so many times that I already cannot say that they are good unit. Okay, in this giant, can this giant deal with the tribesman? It depends. Possibly. Those guys definitely are not playing breakthrough. Okay, so he's those. So let's see what setting. Okay, I am at. Okay, I can go to 5 to have nicer trees and nicer forest and all that. So yeah, he can just charge with both, and maybe he can probably just get an overrun into those tribesmen with the shaman. Okay, so he had to flee, but now the herald will just get a charge into the tribesmen. If the herald decided to go for, if the herald has the fly, then it is a charge on a 9 swift stride. If he didn't go for the fly, then it's a charge on a 9 no swift stride. So either way, this is a good charge. And now those chosen knights here, they are elevated. So this is 15. So it's what? 8 rollable? Oh, why did he? I think he didn't want to do that. What do you think the Blazing Glory is proxying? As I said, I am thinking that this is a hunter on the bigger base. Especially seeing that there is a Mammoth Hunter here. This looks like BSB, and the other hunter looks like the General. So otherwise I see no model that could be the General, and it doesn't look like a position in the game where you might be looking for no General for the August already. So my guess is definitely the Hunter, with the leader of the pack, so the 50, so the different base than usual. Yeah, I think you can change the size of the base, so I think they are just not aware of that. Yeah, definitely. There, I remember now. There is the button. There is a button here. Okay. Let me actually go to the second room, and let's take a look at this one. Except, I don't know what happens with those with those rolls. Creation time 1 hour ago. Okay. So those guys just chaffed and the shaman just went out. And okay, so I think we arrived just in time. This is just before this combat, I think. The ambushers are here. There is, I guess, the shamanism beast that used this breath weapon to do 2 wounds to the Yetis. And then, yeah, this unit is chaffing here. This guy is chaffing here. This guy went here. Okay. Okay, and the mammoth? Will he be able to see the giant? Probably, yes. Yeah. You are definitely right. I just kind of forgot about the fact that you can, in fact, change the size. Okay, and now let's see what happens here. Also, those Yetis can just panic off the board, like leadership 8 with a reroll, so that's good. This 18-inch BSB is actually cool. Like I remember those times when you could have had the BSB on the whole table for ogres. Ugh. Such balanced days. Anyways, okay. Giant actually got wounded by the stupid dogs. Wow. Only 1 wound through? Okay. And he dealt 1 wound with the stomp as well, I think. So this should be a pursuit to get out of the line of sight here. Although he has to roll quite a bit. How far is this? This is 1, 2. He has to roll at least. He has to roll at least 7, I think. Yeah, 7 should suffice to be able to pursue him off the board. But he didn't. He rolled only 3. So he will get probably charged by this guy. This nice little fella here. Actually only 6 because this giant is 75 base and not 100. So let's see. This is, I guess this is this combat. So let's see how many wounds can he deal through the region. Oh, this is this combat actually. I wonder how does he deal with this Mino now, and how fast can the Rock Orok chew through those wild horns? Can he actually chew through them? Okay, and this is the second thing why you don't really play the hunter on the Orok is because you get championed. You normally would get like 3d3 impacts, d6 stomps, and it would actually. Would it be likely? I think it would be possible for the Orok to break through those wild horns in one go. Oh, he overran here. Oh, that's really weird. Because now I think this is 50, right? Yes. Now I would consider sacrificing this hunter, just charging here, trying to free this to free up those guys. No, maybe just chaff with the mammoth. Maybe just chaff with the tribesman and the shaman leaves the unit and shaman tries to kill the other shaman with magic. That's also, I think, a viable solution. But let's see how this goes on this flank. Okay, those are the. Did he just do 0 wounds to the Mino? Can we appreciate that? 0 wounds to the Mino with impacts. Oh my gosh. Because he allowed the +1 toughness in. And this guy is toughness 7. Wow. Incredible. Incredible stuff. So will he kill the Orok before the Orok can strike? Because I think. Okay, I'm again a bit not sure what is being rolled, but I think the Orok will die before he will manage to do his attacks. And now I just wait for those Yetis to fail the panic check. That would be hilarious. Yeah, the Orok did nothing and died. Wow, toughness 7 Mino is pretty rough. With 4 up ward save. And when he obviously rolls all the ward saves. But yeah. This Gortak should be able actually to hold. I think if he positions this correctly, only 4 Yetis will be able to attack him. With 4 Yetis attacking him, this is 4, 8, 11, 14. 3 ups, that's 10, that's like 3 wounds. Yeah, something like this. And let's see whether they can pass through. They can pass through him. Can he do it better so that they cannot? But does it matter for him? Does it matter if they can pass through him? Well, on 11 he can charge the wild horns, and that would be tragic. But yeah. This Orok was actually pretty sad because I think if there was not +1 toughness here, then probably those Yetis could have charged this Mino and try to deal with him, although only again 4 striking, so I'm not sure. But now this is again a huge issue, and I wonder how he will be able to deal with that. Okay, those guys charging here, I'm not sure whether this is correct, because the problem of this charge is that now you cannot throw missiles at the Soothsayer, which normally you can. Well, Trial of Faith is a very bad. Well, it's not a missile, but oh, it is a missile, but only when it's focused. So he will be able to throw Trial of Faith at the Shaman, but Trial of Faith actually sucks. So at some point I was, oh no, this is a scary spell, and then I realized, okay, this spell sucks. When I calculated some averages and so on, and from that point onwards, I think I let it in pretty much every time. Oh, and this is wild. Why did he flee there? Now it's like a charge on the flank, charge here. Charge here, I get out of your line of sight with everything because I just baked this unit. Interesting. There is no overrun here. There's no overrun here. I think this miner will have pretty much nothing to do next turn. If those guys can get out of the line of sight. Although, well, no, he cannot flee with these wild horns. Although maybe he can. If he flees with his wild horns and then flees with the Shaman, then those units are stuck. Although he just chuffs them with the General or the Frost Mammoth. Both options seem bad, honestly. Huh. Okay, let's remove this one, and let's look. Which game do you guys want to look at? This one or Borcha's game? What is your opinion? Make your voice heard. Maybe we can also change the music, although the Conan music is nice. It's a very, very normally music. Not normal, very, very standard. Okay, so yeah, I just wonder what will happen here. This guy's fleeing. If someone didn't notice this guy is fleeing. So those Yetis actually. Well, they cannot charge the Mino. Oh, maybe only one Yeti can touch the Gortak. If only one Yeti can touch the Gortak, then yeah, this definitely makes no sense. Witcher soundtrack is... Yeah, I like the Witcher soundtrack, but I've listened to this so many times. We have a lot of soundtracks here, because the YouTube algorithm is the YouTube algorithm. Maybe we can go to Gladiator soundtrack. Haven't heard it in such a long time. I like this film, though there are a bit more interesting films than this one. But okay, this is Front, so I think this might honestly be only one Yeti. Wow, I thought that surely this has to be two, but maybe this is only one. So maybe that's why he didn't chaff them, because, well, it's either chaffing the Minor Lord with toughness 7 or charging the Gotak. So I don't know. Those Yetis fortunately have the light troops, but yeah, they will just have to get out of here and just, yeah. So this flank seemed under control, but then the magic phase happened, and yeah. Okay, let's go to Borcha's room. I want to take a look at this. They should have actually guessed the password here, because this is the password that they used for UB. Okay, and he just made it in with the Herald, and the Herald just decided to eat the Giant, and those guys didn't eat the Giant, and he just chaffed here, so he didn't charge. And also here you can see the strength of the single models, right? And here I think two tribesmen definitely will be able to touch. Although I it was a nice feature at UB where you could, as a spectator, you could just drag a line to see the distance, but now we don't have it yet. This is because the question is where is the 40 like how far is from this corner to this corner. If this is 40 inch, then 2 tribesmen can fit in, but if this is not, then 1 tribesman can fit in. And I would need to do some maths to be able, well, maybe only 1 tribesman can actually fit in. This is this is actually surprisingly easy to position things like this, so that this is the front and that only 1 tribesman can fit in. So this is really surprisingly easy to do that. So yeah. Oh, and now a lot of knights actually failed their armor saves. Oh, because he didn't get +1 armor, so he only had 4 up left. Yeah, it's a charge, flank, big flank. I think he's already winning. So he should probably just pursue into the left if the Yetis break this time. He should just pursue to the left side and just pursue with the knight, not pursue with the Feldrak. Okay, the music is a bit low, isn't it? At least it's for me. Okay, let me just raise it a bit, because I've seen that yeah, this has been going definitely up over the bar for quite a long time, and then now with the gladiator music it is a bit more calm. Although I don't remember this movie that well, to be fair. Okay, I remember the plot points, but I don't remember the music that was going on there. Those warhounds are actually fairly dangerous, because if those Tuskers charge the rear, they get 2d3 impacts, so they kill like 3 guys, and then you don't slide the dogs to the Tuskers, but you slide the Tuskers to the dogs. So I'm just wondering if it is able that the Herald will get overrun by the Tuskers, because they kill after each initiative. They just end up somewhere here, and then like if they end up somewhere here after the attacks from the tops, for example, or from the bottoms, then this will be a super easy overrun. Although he has no way of chaffing the Chosen Knights, so maybe still this is okay, because the Tuskers will charge the Herald, but then the Chosen Knights charge their rear. What? World of Warcraft? What? What? Just wow. You mean the game? Yeah, let me improve the graphic settings for you, because the automatic is 1, I think, and we can go up to, well, we can go up to 6, but the trees are supposedly lagging a bit, and you can see that the FPS are dropping quite significantly. At times we even seen that they went in the teens. Just expression. Yeah. Okay, so sometimes they go in the teens, but we can go back a bit, and then yeah, we are at the stage where the forest looks like a forest, and the field looks like a field, and here at the default one it just looks a bit worse, but here it starts looking very much okay. Well, in the frames, yeah, but I think this okay. Are the trees much? Yeah. Okay, I think it might be kind of capped at 30. Like the graphics card might do as much as it can to get to 30. So yeah, that might be why I have such a, because I think the goal of every graphics card is the goal of every game is like to have at least 30. Okay, so probably there is no overrun, because I thought that maybe the 30 Tusker might be able to reach the Warhounds, but since I see that the second Tusker reaches them, there is definitely no overrun here. But yeah, it looked super scary, honestly. 60 plus on 6 settings. Oh, let me actually try it. My laptop will crash and burn. Well, no, only the Warhall will crash and burn on it. But I might be able to get a lot of FPSs there, even with a 6. Let me take a look. Let me log in. Let me go to. Okay, can I actually log in twice? That's also something that's good to be tested. Okay, I will just create a room, which you cannot see because I am not streaming from this computer, which I would be afraid to do because it would just blow up immediately. But let's go. I obviously don't have a battlefield ready. Oh, it's not as good as I thought. But I have a steady 60 at 6. I have a very stable 60, and it doesn't change for me from this. Okay, after I start moving around, then maybe the frames drop a bit. Oh wow! I have just seen a very interesting bug. When I was nice until my laptop bursts in flames and just crashes the Warhol. So I definitely need to go to some kind of repair shop to get it fixed, because this makes no sense. Like, playing like this is just okay. But anyways, the bug that I noticed is that when I entered a new game with the same account, it was actually showing me the dice rolls from this game that I'm watching here on this other PC. So that's definitely super interesting. Okay, maybe the music got a bit out of hand, so let's go back to it. Okay, the charge with the Frost Mammoth, I guess he is trying to pin down the Chosen Knights, because I don't think that the Frost Mammoth can really... I think the real issue is that you probably should not log on two accounts. I mean, I was using it on the second computer, the same account, so... Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, on two computers with the same account. Yes, it is much different in a sense from UB. That on UB it is actually normal to have few tabs open and few games open at the same time. But here, yeah, I think it is just too heavy for one computer to have few Warhols open at the same time. But I'm fine with it. Okay, let's go back to the other Ogre game. Okay, let's see what happened here. So he charged as I expected. This guy didn't charge, He just moved the Yetis out, but looking at this direction it seems a bit weird, because, well, we kind of already established that those Yetis don't want to fight either of those. So why are they looking at this direction? Like, They might just want to play cat and mouse with the Minnow Warlord, I guess. So that they want to force the Minnow Warlord, but now, like, this Gortak just gets out of line of sight of them, and if he fails the Marchak and doesn't get out of line of sight, he can pretty easily just position himself again in front of the Yetis, so that not all the Yetis can attack him. So. And then this beast will just kill the scrappings. I don't know why those... Oh, because this is... Yeah, so those guys will probably just charge the scrappings as well. Yeah. This loss of the... Yeah. This loss of the Mammoth... not the Mammoth. The Auroch was actually pretty bad. And now he might not be able to have the tools to deal with the Minor Warlords, which is interesting. Huh. It is really interesting. So this looks very downhill from here for the Ogres, but maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong before in this game. Not sure. Okay. Did he? What happened here? Is this already after all movements and now he's just going to the magic? What? Why did his hunter not move at all? Like, what is the plan? What is the... What's going on? Does he want to take the charge with this hunter, or does he... Like, from this position, I would assume that he wants to chaff the Minnow Warlord with the tribesman, take him on the champion, and then the next turn just murder him with the Rock Orok. That would be my assumption. But looking at the spells that he's throwing, this assumption seems totally incorrect. Also, I don't know if he will be able to... Like, those gargoyles will probably rally because they are near the general. They will not be able to chaff though. I don't know. Beasthearts also didn't lose that much. The Beasthearts basically lost nothing, right? Did they lose any? They lost one gargoyle unit. Did they lose anything else? One giant. Okay. And they killed a Rock Orok, 3 units of dogs, 2 Scrotapults, and that's it. It just feels like a much more of a domination of the Beasthearts here. So it all kind of crumbled from the point where the Rock Orok died on the Minnow Lord without doing any damage. Like, I think if he dealt the 3 wounds, which if he didn't get the +1, like, I don't know what was the second spell that he wanted to stop, because maybe but the opponent got both the +1 toughness and the beast in, so I really don't know what the spell was that he was trying to stop. So, and now he kind of, like, if he dealt 3 wounds to the Minnow Lord, and the Minnow Lord was toughness 6, and he is only 4 up regen, and probably those Yetis could have charged him. 12 attacks, 4 ups, 6, 4 ups, 5 ups, 2. Unclear. They could have killed him. They could have killed him if they got like some good magic buffs. So I'm not sure. I think this wouldn't be as clear cut as here, but now it is more like running around and trying to pretend that the Beasthearts will not have enough turns to kill us. Which is weird because, well, I think both players made a decent amount of mistakes. So, not going to argue over this, but I think some decisions by the Ogre player were a bit questionable. Though the general game plans for both were not bad, so I'm not going to question that at least. Yeah, let's see how this develops. What's the plan here? Yeah, the problem is that those games are definitely much more interesting to commentate over than the more advanced games, I would say. Like when, like, I don't know, Thomas plays. Okay, it also matters like which player you are commentating upon, because, well, if you are commentating upon Furion's games, I would imagine that this is super good because he is a super aggressive player, super dynamic player. So yeah, his games are a blast to watch and probably commentate upon. Some of his decisions are very aggressive, and some might even call them questionable, but they work out good for him. So I don't know what the complaint is. But anyways, when you watch games like Thomas or like Crusader, then, well, those games usually are pretty freaking boring, I tell you what. They are not bad games, definitely not. They are like, they are games by one of the greatest players, but those games are just like not good. Not good in the sense that they are pretty slow. They are positional games. It's like, okay, it's like watching this game with Hermund. Like that made like commentating over, if I was commentating over the game that we tried to play with Herminard, then I would just die. I would just die, or I would just switch to the other game after like 30 minutes, because like it was so slow paced. Yeah, it was just unbearable. Games like this are very nice because, well, the players don't play perfectly, so there is a room to show some improvements, and also there is always a lot of swings of what's going on here. So I wouldn't be surprised if the ogre player actually crashes this. I would be a bit surprised, but not very much. Definitely not very surprised. Although it seems that, okay, this Keen Eater will probably deal with the Wildhorn herd. Probably. So the scenario, it matters whether this Wildhorn will be able to survive, I think. So I don't know. Okay, let's take a look at at the Borcha game again. And I'm starting to lose my voice a bit. So I might need to be ending pretty soon. And also, yeah, hard day tomorrow, but it's none of the problems. Okay, and I see the Yeti. What? What's up with the Yetis here? How are they still here? What's going on? Did they were fighting with Feldrag, they were fighting with Knights, and then the Knights died, and then they just decided, okay, that's time to stop fighting. Lunch break. Okay, they might just be running, and the Feldrag might be pursuing them. Kaiman Ancient. What? Oh, just Shamanism Beast, I guess. Yeah. And those guys, okay, and see, there is only one tribesman in contact. Yeah, that's what I said. That's surprisingly easy to pull off. And now this guy has like what? Although this might not be the best for the giant, honestly, in the sense that the giant is not very likely to take those kind of charges, because what? The opponent gets like 6 attacks, 3 ups, 5 ups, that's 1 if I count correctly, and the giant has 6 attacks. Let's say he has club, which is probably the best option for him now. So 6 attacks, 4 ups, 2 ups. So let's say, okay, 3 would be good, but let's say he dealt only 2 wounds. Then the opponent has charge, banner, rank, and a wound versus 2 wounds. So the giant loses by 2. And I think that's what actually happened. Or is it? Okay, he dealt 2 wounds, but probably survived this? I'm mildly confused on what rolls, because Borcha was rolling here, so I was assuming that those were also his rolls, but then why Borcha is appearing again here? Also, it might be Borka. I might be just butchering his name massively, but what can you do? Okay, so the Exalted Herald just, okay, yeah. As I said, I think he fled, right? Yeah, I think he fled. So you see, it was just 2 wounds for the giant, and then the guy had a charge, a rank, and a banner, and the giant lost by 1 and just fled. So those are the charges that, like, if this giant was wounded, actually it would be better for him, because then Tribesman cannot do that much damage to him, and then he still has a lot of attacks. But because he has he actually got some wounds, so I was just crazy here. But he just fluffed his attacks, or he was only... So he got 3 wounds in from 6 attacks? What? That seems interesting. Not very likely. Okay. What's the plan for those guys? Can those guys really take the charge from this warrior's block? Because this guy will not be able to countercharge, really. He can countercharge the Feldrak, but the Feldrak will just not charge here. Feldrak will either... Although, if they charge and they don't push the Tuskers in one go, which is actually likely. The Tuskers have a lot of attacks and they have stomps. I don't know what those warriors... Those warriors are supposedly marked, but I don't know what mark do they have and what weapon do they have. And if those warriors don't push the Tuskers, then the beast plus the giant can kind of mess them up. Kind of. Can they? It also depends on the mammoth. Also, actually, how do you? Is this 8? No. So you just cannot fit them. So yeah. Let's see. This is over on an 8. If he doesn't make it, he just goes 6. So it is, yeah, he is in a very, very rough spot here because the Tuskers, okay, the Tuskers are able to make a good reform, which is good, but still, this guy just charges the Feldrak. Those, oh, that's so nasty. Oh, do you guys see it? Oh, that's so nasty. My throat started to hurt. That's so nasty. Look, this Feldrak charges the Mammoth. Chosen Knights charge the Mammoth to ensure that the Feldrak breaks him. Feldrak overruns in the flank of the Tuskers that the warriors charged. They break them, and then the warriors pursue them into the giant. And then it's like all over. I mean, like the whole center just imploded, and then this herald can just charge the tribesman, and yeah. Just put the Feldrak in the flank, and then like this whole everything implodes. He has distracting hard target, but I don't think it matters. If the Feldrak just charges the flank, then this is enough to just push him. Oh, he charges here as well. Actually, okay, let's see if he could wheel. Wow, actually those warriors, like look, if he charged here, then those warriors, if he charged the giant, then those warriors could have also charged the giant, killed the giant, and overrun into the beast. That would be epic. Like the warriors fighting 1, 2, 3 combats in one go. That would be nice stairs to go for. Okay, he obviously charges the mammoth in the flank. And now the question is whether Exalted Herald should charge the tribesman, but I think he should. On those spots with offensive armies, I think at some point what you need to do... Okay, he... What? Well, he cannot flee from the warriors. Okay, I think he's saving the Exalted Herald in case those Tuskers run from the warriors. So what I would advise in those cases, if you are in this kind of position, then you should try to declare the charge with the warriors first, or maybe let's do it the opposite way. Like, see which of the opponent units is most likely to flee. And then declare this charge first, because then the opponent has your turn of charges to plan. If you declare this charge last, then your opponent will see what will happen, so he will just flee. If you declare this charge first, then he might not see what's happening coming. In particular, like never declare charges against the units that are fearless first, because this makes no sense. Fearless units will always hold, so... Well, maybe sometimes you need to make spot for your other units, but you know what I mean. Just don't complain about the details, come on. Okay, and the Mammoth fled, and rightfully so. I think that if Mammoth didn't flee, then yeah, this whole center would just collapse. And this is the only way for him to save anything. And actually he might He might save a decent bunch, although now this Herald can just push the Mammoth further. Probably through the hunt. Oh, this Mammoth now is dead, I think. Because if he flees from the Herald, I think he's very likely... I cannot draw a line, so I cannot show you this. I think he's very likely to flee through both of those units, end up off the board, and panic the tribesman. Oh, this guy charges the hunter. I don't know what the hunter has, but yeah, this charge with this guy is definitely good. And the chosen knights can also just charge the Tuskers and help the warriors, I think. So let's see if the Mammoth. I think Mammoth goes off the board. Pretty sure about this. But at least now those Tuskers will not get flanked charged. Yeah, he goes off the board. So at least those Tuskers will not get flanked charged, and there will be no overrun into the giant. Also, this guy is on front. Oh, I see that the lines kind of go through the terrain now. I kind of can see the lines on the terrain. So this is an overrun. So actually, this is a mess up on the ogre part, because now this Feldrak will be able to overrun to the giant with the Mammoth Hunter not being able to do anything about this, because he will overrun to the front. He will position himself in such a way that the Mammoth Hunter will have no wheel available to him to reach him. So yeah, I think that's very well played on Borcha's side. This giant is pretty unfortunate, but if he rallies, then I think he's actually okay, although he will get more attacks from the tribesmen now, so I don't know. I wonder if this is a game where normally, because okay, this is just pure speculation here, but since I've seen Borcha play this ogre army pretty similar to this, like very, very similar. I'm now speculating over whether he's playing with his friend who was playing warriors and Borcha was beating on him, so the guy said, okay, let's swap armies and then I can beat up on you. And then they swapped armies and Borcha will probably still win, right? I don't know, this is just pure speculation now. Well, but I remember I played the game like this very, very long time ago. One of my first games played in the Warhammer. It was in 8th edition. And I was playing vampires and I was playing like the horsey bunker. I was playing pretty stupid list. And then my opponent was playing Warriors of the Dark Gods, which were Warriors of Chaos back then. And we played. He tabled me on like turn 3 or something. And I was very unhappy. And I had like two vampire lords, and yeah, he was also a vampire player, so he said, okay, let's switch armies and I can beat you with your own army because you made this mistake, this mistake, this mistake, this mistake. And I'm like, okay. And then we switched armies, and I tabled him on turn 3 using his warriors. And I never played warriors before, so this was hilarious. Yeah, so this was hilarious to me because he was like so cocky. Yeah, I can beat you up with your own army because I know it better than you, and then he was complaining that my list was bad. Like, my list was not good, but my list was not that bad as well. It was just, I think in 8th edition it was like you had some matchups that were pretty unwinnable, which was sad. Like the demons versus vampires. Very rough matchup. Very, very rough matchup. And I don't think I finished my thought with the demon prince charging the tribesmen. My point that I wanted to make is that, okay, this guy charges the tribesman, then he will free himself up at some point. And I'm playing an offensive army. This will work my way, so if he will free up himself for my turn, then I will get a free charge wherever I want. So this will always be a pain in the ass for the opponent. So that's why going for those charges is not stupid. And you are pinning your opponent. Well, if he's playing more defensively, then that makes much more sense, because then you will get less shooting at your guy and so on. But even if he's playing a more offensive army as well, then sometimes just pinning his unit and just stopping him in place and forcing him to reconsider his choices, because okay, imagine this was a much more even battle, and the ogre guy was just advancing forward, and then the demon prince charges in the tribesmen in the middle of the field, and he cannot countercharge them. Then he kind of cannot proceed with his army forward, because, well, the demon prince will free himself up at some point, and then he doesn't want to get a recharge or something by the demon prince. And here we see that he actually went for a double charge with the chosen knights. So now he basically ensured that those tribesmen are gone. And I'm not sure whether he will pursue them. I think it depends on how many wounds does he do. If I were him, I would definitely support the Feldrak Elder combat 100% with all my magic, and we can see that because the only unit that he actually has to move is the giant that will rally. So that will be a very, very quick turn. But I will 100% support the Feldrak Elder that is in the forest, and I would play his combat first. Then I would play the combat, I think, the other Feldrak with the beast, because the giant can still fail the panic check. Okay, so it doesn't really matter. But still, I want this combat because I will always go for this overrun, so it doesn't matter. And maybe my opponent doesn't realize that the giant wants to fail the panic check. And then I would go for the Tasker's combat. And I think at the end I would go for the tribesman combat to see whether my chosen knights should pursue them or whether they are needed somewhere else, so that I leave the things that have any kind of decision to make. The only decision that you can make in this turn after these combats is first how to reform the warriors, second how to reform the chosen knights and the demon prince. So those two combats should definitely go last. Because, for example, if you decide to pursue with the chosen knights first, and then it happens that the mammoth hunter just kills the Feldrak, although I don't know. I don't know what the weapons on the warriors are. If I knew the weapons on the warriors, then maybe I would have known whether you need to support the Tasker's combat as well. But yeah. Maybe Tasker's combat is more important, but I would be scared that my Feldrak Elder actually dies to the hunter. But again, I don't know the exact build, so maybe this is not going to happen. Let's go back to our Beast Huts game. Okay, what has happened here? The Minor charged the rear and the Soothsayer charged the front. What? Okay. I think it goes very well for the Beast Huts, because the ogres are surrounded. The Yeti's tribe, the hunter stares into nothing, although he managed to heal a wound, so good for him. But yeah, this is not looking great. I think if he wanted to stop any kind of he could have stopped this left flank only by charging the Frost Mammoth here. Also, this charge, how close it? Oh, I think it was pretty close because the shaman was over the 12-inch mark line. That's what I remember. Okay, so I think this game just wraps up, and I'm really interested in how this Borcha game goes. So I think we will just go. We'll just take a look at this last turn of the Borcha's game, and then we will end the stream, because I see that you guys are kind of getting sleepy as well. Yeah. But I really enjoyed commentating over this. It was definitely much better than UB, especially because if I feel like there is not that much happening in the game, I can just, you know, look around, take some pictures, you know, be a Japanese tourist, just, you know, have some fun. I like this. Also, I see that he put the Hereditary into the Tuskers and he killed a full Tusker. And Tuskers have free up save, toughness 5, so I would guess that this means that he has the Veil Walker and that he forced him to reroll his successful ammo saves, because otherwise it seems very unlikely that the full Tusker dies to this, although he might have just rolled a lot of hits. Yeah, and then a very low armor saves roll or something, also possible. And let's see what happens here. There is a wound on this guy, so I guess this is the wound that came from the Feldark Elder. Okay. I didn't know that this terrain is amazing. It's really cool. And did I see correctly that they want to introduce, like, the Piteglio is working on introducing the real life models into the game? That would be so cool. Okay, now, okay, he plays the tribesman combat before the warrior combat, which is slightly weird to me, but nothing major. Also, I see that there was some kind of pillow fight, like 1 wound on the hunter, but the hunter's held. I wonder why the Sabertooth is still here, but I think he might have been needed somewhere else, but maybe not. I think playing... Okay, so definitely... I don't think that this is very weird. Like, first he played the Feldrak combat, and now it's more or less clear for the tribesmen, because the warriors should be able to push through the Tuskers now. So yeah, definitely the only thing that really mattered this turn is to play the Feldrak combat before the combat of the Chosen Knights. And I think he actually doesn't kill as many tribesmen as he wanted, partly because now less of his Karkadan are in contact, so he made a slight error here by allowing his Karkadan to drop out of combat, I think. So now he will get only 2 attacks instead of full 6 attacks. With extra 4 attacks on... Well, I don't know if those have Iron Fist. I guess not. Like, unit of 6 with Iron Fist will be a bit weird, although possible. So if they don't have Iron Fist, then... Oh, they are still weapon skill free, so what am I saying? So it's 4 attacks, 4 up, 3 up, so that's like maybe 2 extra wounds. He has 7 wounds left, so he would have 5 wounds left, 5 wounds out of a unit of 5. He has 8 wounds left, actually. So he have 6 wounds left out of a unit of 5 guys. So still definitely not under a quarter, so probably doesn't matter. So probably but does he want to pursue this? This will put one of his units out of the game, kind of. So that's sometimes the problem. I think I still would pursue the Chosen Knights, probably. What is the alternative? Yeah, the Chosen Knights pursued, but they failed the pursuit. But it doesn't really matter. You already dedicated the Chosen Knights to deal with the tribesmen. So now I don't think you have enough turns. Maybe you do this. I think this is only turn 3. The games between very aggressive armies are usually super dynamic. But I think that they might not play any other role in the game than just to finish off this tribesman. So the fact that they didn't pursue them down just doesn't matter, because they will do it in the next 3 turns at some point anyway. So the tribesmen are just dead, and the chosen knights will not be dead. That's the gist of it. Okay, and now are we going to the main combat? No, I think this is... Oh, a failed panic check on the giant. That's what I'm spotting here. The guy must be so happy, because now he will be able to kill the Feldrak if he makes the charge on... Can he make it 15? Possibly not. Ha! That's so lucky. Okay, he will face the... I think that's incorrect. Although you still will probably die from the hunter. But I would still face him sideways, because even if I don't die, then he breaks me. So I want to make sure that his charge is as far as possible. And judging by this, he maybe could have made it to be over 14, which would mean a charge on an 8, which is much harder than the charge on... And again, I don't see it because of deployment, but maybe I can see it the other way around. Yeah, this is definitely a charge on a 7. So that's on a 6. So that's definitely a mistake. A small one, but still. Pretty annoying that for him that this giant failed the panic. This was a panic on 8, and his opponent was smart enough to not use the BSB, providing that this hunter is the BSB. Yeah. But in general, it still seems to go Borcha's way. Especially if this is the scoring point. Although if this is the scoring point, then probably like what? Turn 4 the chosen knights get the tribesmen, turn 5 they turn around, turn 5 they reach, turn 6 they reach the scoring. Yeah, so the chosen knights will actually have another role in this game. Probably. Yeah. Okay, guys. I think that's kind of it from what I... Okay, let's just take a look at this Tuskers combat, and then we can say goodnight. Wow. Hopefully I will get the game on Thursday against orcs and goblins, as far as I remember. What's the exact list? I don't know, because there was an update. I saw his game before, and I think he had like a lot of monsters and he had double catapult, but we'll see how this changes now. I think he might have had double idol. Let me actually see, because I don't like going to this folder. So yeah. Okay, this is, I believe, warriors striking on the Tuskers. 19 hits. That seems to be the case. And now, okay, that's a good roll if, well, it doesn't matter what weapons he has. And this looks like he has halberds, because he was wounding on 4s. So this means 5 up safe, so 7 guys dead, probably. And rerolls 1 to armor. Oh, so he has the banner of gang, or whatever it is called. But it doesn't help much, as 2 Tuskers succumb to their wounds, and unfortunately for him, this has to be 2 Tuskers on the side. Unless I miscalculated something? What? This was 2 Tuskers from the side, then he couldn't strike at the mage, but now he probably can kill the mage. I definitely remember this one from Gladiator. Okay, only 1 wound to the mage, so he must have Destiny Call. I don't recommend having like Destiny Call on your mage. Or maybe I should, because this is actually probably the only unit in the army where the mage can sit. I don't know, like if this is an adept, then Destiny Call is definitely a waste, so this has to be a master. This has to be a very Walker master, and yeah. Then it kind of makes sense, but I would just rather not have a unit of 25 warriors. But, like, I don't like this unit, because this unit costs like the full core, right? I think he had only 8 dogs except for that in the core, and that's it. I rather have 4 units in my core than 1 unit in my core. 2 units to be precise. So I don't know. Yeah, some champion is dead, I guess. I don't know why that matters. It's also something that, yeah, this kind of micromanaging. Oh, okay, the mage is dead. Maybe it was just armor saves. So this is kind of micromanaging, like attacking the champion. I never remember to do that, and yeah, it's just I usually observe like. Okay, I don't want to offend anyone, but I probably will. So, usually when I see that the person is attacking the champion with part of the attacks from the unit, then yeah, I think very few good players do that, because they think about a lot of other stuff and they just don't remember about stuff like attacking the champion. Like, I very rarely see people like Thomas or Furion or Marek or Crusader or any Russian guy attacking the champion, because like, oh great, attacking the champion. It doesn't really change much, does it? It's like, just focus on the other stuff in the battle, and if you remember about attacking the champion, then sometimes you remember and sometimes you do that and you are like, yes, this time I remembered. But in general, like, you just don't remember. So yeah. Okay, so he didn't kill that many. Did those oh, those guys actually held. Ah. Yeah, those guys said that they play for the first time, so I just allowed myself to tell them that. Yeah, unfortunate. Okay, okay, so that will be it for me today. I feel like a pervert all of a sudden, allowing me to watch. That sounded wrong. That sounded very wrong. You didn't hear anything. Anyways, I had fun today. That was good. It was good practice. I think I need to go back a bit more to commentating, especially because, well, why? Well, I don't have that much time to like think about the list that I want to play, like schedule games and such. So if more players will be playing, and we see already that we had like one game that was scheduled to play today, which I asked if there are people who will be playing, and the Loclas and Che volunteered that they were playing anyway. So that was a nice game to watch. But then we had the Borcha game. Then there are like 2 other games that are being played, so that's great. So I already see that this is looking good. This is basically like 3 games is like what we were getting at UB when I was commentating, and this is alpha, and like I don't know, probably like 50 people have access or something. Well, maybe a bit more. I don't know. I don't know the details. So yeah, I'm not even going to guess. But obviously, not all people have access here. So thank you guys for coming. Hope next time I will be able to have my camera installed somewhere here, although I don't see another USB port, but yeah, it should work. And on Thursday again, I should have a game, so probably see you Thursday. Good night.